A to the K.
To the K.
To the K.
Hello, one and all. Welcome to the A to the K Wrestling Show. Joining us today, you may know her from OVW, Ring of Honor, AEW, or the hit Netflix show Wrestlers, the baddie herself, Leila Grey. Leila, thanks so much for being here.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for having me today.
I know it's our pleasure, honestly. So we figured if we could, we'd just dive right in and talk about Wrestlers on Netflix. So we could just ask sort of what the process was like for filming the show and your reaction to how well it's been received.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first off, I feel so blessed and honored to be a part of the project and to be on the Netflix platform, because now we are forever immortalized on the platform.
Yeah.
So that is a major accomplishment of mine. Yeah, I feel super lucky to have been a part of it. It was an amazing experience. They followed us around all summer last year when we did our summer tour. We were wrestling so much, like 5 days a week for the whole summer. It was a lot of hard work. But yeah, it was definitely a summer that I will never forget. And the fact that now it's on Netflix and I can relive that whenever, it's it's such a blessing. And I mean, then to see the final product was amazing. Like, I've cried several times while watching it at different moments. I think I've watched the series 3 times already, about to start it for a 4th time.
I mean, it is so good. I mean, the reaction to it has been absolutely immense. I think it seems like a no-brainer now to do a second season. Have you heard any more about potentially doing that?
I mean, we're still waiting to hear, but we are praying for season 2, baby, because I mean, they told some amazing stories in this season, but there's still so much more that has been left untold, and we want the whole world to see. So thanks to all of those that have watched and supported, and we hope to come back for a second season. But the show has been received immensely well. So many articles about it, so many people tweeting about it. Like, even now, if you go on the Wrestlers Netflix hashtag, like, people are still talking about it, and it's great.
No, definitely. But obviously, speaking of a potential second season and how well it's been received, obviously one of the big moments in the series was, of course, your proposal. So, I mean, firstly, congratulations.
Thank
but
you.
I just wanted to sort of ask, if we were to look at a second season, I mean, would you be open to sharing sort of the wedding planning and that sort of thing on the show?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that if they do come back for season 2, that's definitely something that I would like to show more of. I would like to tell the world, I want them to learn more of our story, Luke and I, and then for us to be able to possibly share a wedding with the world. I think that would be amazing, and that's definitely what I would aim for.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be awesome to see that. I think obviously such a huge moment, and you had a couple of big moments on that show, including getting signed by AEW. Can you kind of talk about how that kind of came about, and what was your reaction to getting signed?
Yeah. Well, I had been working with AEW for probably a year, almost a year and a half prior, as an extra for them. And I mean, it was always an amazing experience. But there was probably like a little moment in time where things got like a little stale. I wasn't going there as much. So in my head, I was thinking like, okay, they're probably done with me. Like, they ran its course. But no, one day out of nowhere, they called me and they said, "Hey, Leila, we have something for you." So that's how it started. And they're like, "Hey, can you fly in tomorrow to have a match with Jade at Blood and Guts?" And, they started telling me the whole thing about the baddies, and I instantly loved it. I'm like, this is the perfect way to bring me on to AEW. So yeah, that actually happened like right when we started filming the Netflix show. So that's also, part of the reasons why I'm not in it as much as, much as they could have been, because I was traveling a lot and a lot was happening at that time. So yeah, they called me. They said they had something for me, some baddie business. I'm like, "Hey, Leila is your girl. I am down." And I mean, that's how the whole thing started. And I got to work real closely with Jade for the whole year, and it was amazing. And then this year is that I was officially signed.
Awesome.
So obviously you mentioned sort of coming in as part of the baddies. I just wondered, in terms of the sort of creative process for that, was that sort of an idea that they sort of fully pitched to you, or was there a bit of sort of creative license there? Like they had a rough idea what they wanted, but you had a sort of bit to work with on that, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, they were already, Jade Cargill was already doing the whole Baddies thing before I got there, and it was with Red Velvet and Kiera Hogan. Unfortunately, Red Velvet was injured last year, so they had a baddie search. You know, they wanted to find a replacement for her, an interim baddie until Red Velvet heals. So I mean, I'm not exactly sure how my name came up, but I mean, a few people suggested it to them, and I did see like fans tagging me on Twitter, but I mean, I really didn't like pay much mind to that. But yeah, in AEW, within AEW, there were people that mentioning me. So, I mean, I was very, very happy to get that opportunity. And I mean, that's kind of just how the whole thing started.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, there was so many different layers to that story as well. From obviously getting Stokely in as the publicist, and the whole thing with, as you said, with Velvet and Kira, and even like a mini feud with Bow Wow and stuff like that. So
yep. And
what
ultimately, I was the last baddie standing.
Yes, you were. So kind of, I'm just curious, like, did you end up forming like a big friendship with the rest of the group, and how's that kind of set you up, for your current gimmick?
Yes, I mean, I did form a bond with the group. Me and Jade, and we worked very well together. Even when the other girls left the group, me and her was still very close, and I learned a lot being next to her throughout all that. Kiera Hogan is definitely somebody that I also grew close to in the process. She was very sweet. I enjoyed working with her, and I also learned a lot from her as well. And she has super cool style, so she taught me a lot about fashion and makeup. So Kiera Hogan is awesome. I actually miss working closely with her, and sometimes I, think that me and her would make a great tag team someday.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So obviously, Jade made the decision very recently to part ways with AEW and head over to WWE. If you don't mind, I was just wondering sort of what you made of that decision, and have you spoke to Jade since?
I've spoken to her briefly. I found out online just like, the rest of the world. And I was like, what? No way. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm extremely happy for her. Jade is a superstar. She's a megastar. So I know she's gonna kill it out there. She's gonna do amazing. And I told her that. I congratulated her. We briefly spoke, and I exactly what I just told you guys. I told her that she's going to do amazing. I was very happy for her. She also told me she watched the show Wrestlers on Netflix in support of me. So we had a nice little conversation. Awesome, yeah. And, I thanked her for everything because, I became a baddie because of her, and now I'm the baddie. And I feel like through her, I was kind of able to find like my place and kind of like more who I am. And she helped a lot with that. So I owe a lot to her, and I just wish her the absolute best.
Yeah, like you say, last baddie standing. Absolutely loving it. So you are signed with AEW, but obviously you still have the opportunity to work with some other promotions like House of Glory and OVW. Obviously, we're big fans of Al. We've had him on the show before. Just curious what it's like working with Al, and how's OVW doing now? Obviously, off the back of Netflix, has it seen any kind of surge in popularity off the back of it?
Yeah. Well, working with Elsa is amazing. When I first joined the business, it was 4 years ago. And, I was watching all this wrestling, anything that I can really watch, documentaries and stuff. And then I came across the show Tough Enough, and I vaguely remembered it from back in the day. So, I rewatched all the seasons, and me and my fiance, we fell in love with Al Snow. We're like, man, he's the best. If we could just meet him one day. And fast forward now to the future, we are at OVW training under Al Snow. And I mean, he's a great, great man. Like, he cares a lot. He's so passionate. He cares a lot about his wrestlers. He's somebody that you talk to about stuff. You can go to talk to about stuff, even if it's not wrestling related. So, I mean, it's been a pleasure working under Al Snow. He's definitely taught me a lot, and he taught me how to be a superstar. Basically, that's my developmental. That's the reason why I'm there. There's AEW doesn't have a NXT or anything like that. So I love that I'm allowed to still be at OVW and keep growing and elevating and developing. Yeah, and then now with the success of wrestlers, you know, we've been having sold out shows ever since, week after week after week. Our pay-per-view this weekend is sold out as well. So we've been seeing a lot of success. Everybody's making more money, everybody's selling more merch, everybody's getting out there more, doing more interviews, doing more shows. So I mean, everybody's coming up, and it's great to see. Everybody has been in like such high spirits since the show dropped.
Yeah, right now, rightly so. So obviously we've seen a lot of you recently on Ring of Honor. So I just wondered what the sort of main differences are between the likes of Ring of Honor versus AEW and even OVW.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor. Now he revamped it into the new Ring of Honor. And, you know, with the eliminations of the AEW Dark and Dark Elevation shows, you know, AEW has a large roster. We're like, where are we gonna wrestle now? So we're glad that we have the Ring of Honor platform, and you know, that we can go there and keep developing and keep telling stories, and you know, keep getting our TV time and all of that. So I've really been enjoying being there and being able to develop myself as more of a standalone character, because on, you know, Dynamite and Rampage, they mostly saw me standing next to Jade. So now Ring of Honor is kind of helping me develop my own thing. And that's what OVW allows me to do. I keep developing, and you know, everything that I'm being taught at OVW, I bring it to these other platforms, and everything works well together. I'm glad I get to work for all three. It's just more exposure for me, building a brand, and you know, it's just more wrestling to go around.
That's it.
Absolutely. I mean, speaking of OVW, you know, you had really good chemistry with Hailey J. Would you like to see Hailey maybe make the transition over and maybe introduce a new set of fans who weren't familiar with OVW to kind of you two in the ring together?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's what I'm loving about this Netflix show, that more people are becoming familiar with OVW. And yeah, Hailey is such an important pillar of the company, specifically the women's division. She's a very important part of OVW. She's super talented, has this huge personality, as you guys saw on the show. So yeah, she's definitely somebody that I would like to see at AEW. I definitely believe in her and her work, and I know she can do it. She's entertaining. She's funny as hell. She's a good time to be around. And, you know, me and her, we do have good chemistry, and I've enjoyed working with her. I'm glad we got to be dance partners during the whole filming of Netflix, because we were able to do some really cool stuff together. So yeah, she's got it, man. She's got it.
So obviously you've been managed by both Stokely Hathaway and Smart Mark Sterling. So I just wondered sort of what it's been like working with them, and what your thoughts were on having a manager.
Well, Stokely's fantastic. I'm actually upset that we didn't get to work with him as long as I would have liked, because I feel like we could have really done a lot with him. And yeah, Smart Mark Sterling, he's a great lawyer to have in your corner. You know, me and him got to do some Ring of Honor stuff together, and I would like to continue working with him if I'm doing my own thing and I can have a manager and stuff. I would like to continue that relationship.
Yeah, it's been really fun to see you together and stuff. Something else we've seen, obviously, you've changed up your look quite a bit over the last year, obviously with like the red hair, and I also love the money fan as well. What was kind of your thought process behind kind of changing up your appearance?
I mean, I think it's just all about growth and elevation, you know, keeping things fresh and changing things up. I'm someone that I like to play around a lot with, you know, looks and fashion, like in general in my everyday life. So now I'm glad I get to incorporate that in wrestling. And I mean, to be honest, I've never been super bold to do a color. This is like the first color I've ever done. But now I feel like I have the balls to switch it up and do any color. I think it's super fun, and just, you know, there's something about it that just makes you feel more in character. And, you know, I'm a bad girl, and this red hair makes me feel super bad.
Love it.
Love it. So obviously now that the Baddies is over, and I know you sort of alluded to this before, but are you looking to cement yourself more as a single star, or could we maybe see starting up your own group of Baddies in the future?
Well, I mean, I would like to have my own group of baddies. Maybe we revamp that in AEW. In OVW, we have the BGC, the Bad Girls Club, with me, Tiffany Nieves, and Jada Stone. And, you know, we're taking over the division and we're causing trouble week after week. So that's kind of where we've been, you know, doing that at. But yeah, but in terms of AEW, I would definitely like to see myself more as a standalone star, because I truly believe that one day I could be women's champion or the TBS champion. I definitely feel like I have what it takes. So I want to be a standalone character, but there's also something really fun about having a faction with you. So I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to that.
I think, like you said before, like you've been in the business literally for 4 years. Like I know you mentioned in previous interviews how you kind of got into the business quite late and stuff, and it's crazy to me that you've only been doing this for such a short amount of time. So I guess my question is, how did you get so good so quick?
Well, I guess a lot of it had to do with my age and me feeling like, hey, am I already too old to be doing this? So I feel like I took like a pro wrestling crash course, and I just told my coach, like, get me ready. So like we worked super hard, training 4 or 5 days a week, nonstop. I was watching anything wrestling related that I could. Like I studied really hard. And also I feel like what also helped me is that I made my debut during COVID, during the pandemic, during the lockdown. That's when I made my pro wrestling debut in front of like 8 to 10 people. So before that debut, everything was shut down. A lot of, gyms were shut down. Nobody was running shows. Nobody was really training anymore. But my coach let me and my fiance come in the school, and we kept training throughout the lockdown, just getting better and getting better and getting better. And next thing you know, we debuted, we surpassed a lot of like our peers that we had. And I mean, we just kept working during the pandemic. We were, getting super cool gear, taking promo pictures. We were just ready so that when we made our debut, we had like all this stuff. We had our music, we had cool gear, we had a look, a persona. Like we worked really hard, and it caught the attention of a lot of promoters. And I mean, that's how I started getting out there. And
Awesome.
within 3 months of my debut is that AEW called me to come in for Dark. And the rest there is kind of history. Then more people started seeing me, more independent promotions started reaching out, Mission Pro Wrestling. They helped me out a lot. And it was just more of getting my face out there. But it was a hustle.
Yeah, it sounds like
That's it. So is there anyone in AEW or Ring of Honor who has sort of given you advice or helped you develop?
I like to talk a lot with some people backstage, such as like Tony Schiavone, Jerry Lynn, even Chris Jericho, Mark Henry, Paul White. Like those are people that I feel comfortable going to and talking to them about stuff. Also Pat Buck and QT. Like, when I feel like things are not going right, or if I'm not believing in myself, or I need ideas, or whatever it may be. Those men right there, they're just extremely helpful. Even Dustin, like we just have such a great group of professionals and vets backstage, that I just feel comfortable approaching them and getting help from them. Those are my guys.
Yeah. As you said, some amazing minds to some
some amazing names. They're just like such geniuses when it comes to it, when it comes to the promo work, when it comes to the matches. And
it's
great working with them.
So someone you previously listed as a bit of an inspiration to you when you were getting into the business is Mercedes Moné. So obviously we got to see her in All In, which could maybe mean that we get to see her in AEW one day. So is that someone that you kind of got your eyes set on?
Absolutely. You know, when I saw her that she was in the crowd at All In, and you know, there's rumors here and there. But yeah, she's definitely somebody that inspired me when I was just getting into the business. I was watching her and I just saw, like, I just feel like I related with her. I saw a lot of me in her, or her and me. And she's somebody that I connected with. So if she comes to AEW, she is definitely number one on my list to have a match with.
Yeah, we'd love to see.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be a banger. It would be so amazing.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. So I believe you've actually you've starred in a number of music videos as well, including one with Bad Bunny and Drake. So I just wondered if you could sort of tell us sort of how that came about, and what's been your favorite one to do.
Yeah, so I mean, for a while I was living in Miami, Florida, and down there I was working as a model. So a lot of the jobs that I would do would be music videos. I got to work with some amazing names, like you mentioned, Drake, Bad Bunny. I worked with Chris Brown, Trey Songz, Doja Cat, Lil Wayne, like Rick Ross. There's a lot of names, more than that as well. But that Drake and Bad Bunny Mia video was definitely my favorite one till this day. It was just the 5-year anniversary the other day, because we shot it in 2018. And I mean, till this day, it was still one of my top videos I ever worked. And they were super cool, especially Bad Bunny. He was super humble. He's so humble. And I mean, I'm a huge Bad Bunny fan. He's probably like my number one artist right now that I listen to. Yeah, so working with him was definitely such an honor.
And it turns out a fellow wrestling fan as well.
Well, no, yeah.
Yes, and he turned out to be a wrestling fan, and he's killing it. Like, he's way better than I even imagined he would be.
Definitely.
So something we've been seeing, you've been doing a lot of signings and stuff lately, and a lot of conventions. So I'm just curious, have you got like maybe a favorite and at least favorite moments from any of your signings that you've done?
Not really like specific moments. But I mean, I just always enjoy doing signings. I talk a lot, so I like talking to my fans and meeting them. And you know, it's always cool, like getting to know where people are coming from. Like, oh, you came all this way, and people have driven like hours and hours to meet me. And I'm like, that just, you know, when you hear stuff like that, you hear for the fans and how much of an impact you have on them. That really just like motivates me to keep pushing, and it gives me more confidence. Like, man, like you're really out here doing it. You're really out here doing it. So I feel like the fans always reinstill that passion in me. So I love doing signings and meet and greets and getting to meet all the fans.
That's awesome. So have you had the chance to come over to the UK before? And if not, is it something sort of that you'd like to do in the future? Maybe wrestling for some of the British fans?
Absolutely, absolutely. My goal is to be at the next All In 2024. Yeah. Please, Leila Grey has to be there. I've actually never been to the UK, but would absolutely love to wrestle out there for sure. I want to wrestle everywhere, UK, Japan. Like, I really want to get out there and be more international. I've only wrestled in Canada so far. So that's definitely my goal for the next year, is to do more international work and get out there. And I want to meet my international fans, man.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. It's a very, very rowdy bunch in the UK, so I'm sure you'll love the fans.
You guys seem fun. You guys seem real fun.
Thank you. So talking about obviously your future, have you got any names in mind of people that you maybe love to face, maybe some dream opponents over the kind of next few months?
Well, I really want to face off with Toni Storm. Toni Storm is doing amazing. Have you guys been watching what she's been doing lately?
The timeless stuff.
She's been killing it. Like, man, like she's the best thing going right now in women's wrestling. In wrestling, I would say. Like, I'm just loving what she's doing with her character, the vignettes. So Toni Storm is definitely at the top of my list. She's somebody that I want to face.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So, I mean, lastly from us, just to talk about sort of what the next 6 to 12 months would look like for Leila Grey.
What the next 6 to 12 months would look like? Well, I mean, I just want to get myself out there more. Like I said to you guys, I want to be more international. I want to spread my wings and go to places that I've never been before. So that's definitely my goal for the next year. Also, you know, just be on AEW more. Like that's definitely my goal, to be on TV more, have a more prominent role. So I'm working hard. I'm fully focused. I'm working out a lot, guys. I'm working on these muscles. You know, it's just been all about self-improvement right now for me. I've been training, been working out, and you know, I want to show AEW and the AEW fans more of what I can do.
Absolutely. And we
Because
definitely
I can do a lot more than I've been allowed to do over there. So I definitely want to show the fans more of me.
Yeah, we can't wait to see it. Leila, thank you so much for taking the time. We genuinely appreciate it so much. Before we let you go, just let everyone know how they can obviously keep up to date with you and where they can get your merch and everything else you've got going on.
Absolutely, guys. Please keep in touch with me. Follow me on social medias. My handles are Miss Leila Grey. That's MISS_ Leila Grey. Should be the same across all platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Also, I'm on Cameo, guys. So if you guys want to chat with me, or if you want some personalized messages, hit me up. Also, in the link in bio, I have my merch store. If you want some Leila Grey t-shirts and autographed pictures, I have trading cards, stickers. So there I am, guys. Connect with me, get your merch. Thank you so much for supporting me in my career. And please watch Wrestlers on Netflix if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for having me today.
Thanks for being here. Thank you.